McMenamin joins us now from Minneapolis. Dave, there are turnarounds, and then there is what Minnesota did tonight. What are the Wolves crediting for this gigantic turnaround in Game 6?
Well, Kevin, really there was two things. Let's start with the 22-year-old Anthony Edwards, who was dynamite tonight, a plus 43 in 34 minutes, looking to credit Mike Conley, the 36-year-old point guard for the Wolves, who missed Game 5 with a strained right Achilles. And Anthony Edwards said the difference was we got Mike Conley back. That was it. And Conley is a game manager. He's someone that gets this team into its offense. He's someone who gets in the ears of guys like Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards when things go awry, and is a steadying force. And, oh, by the way, he outperformed Jamal Murray tonight. 13 points for Conley, 10 points for Jamal Murray in a disastrous defensive game. And when we talk about Murray, that's the other thing that the team pointed to. The coaching staff showed what Jaden McDaniels called a hype video prior to tip-off, showing how they looked earlier in the series, in Games 1 and Games 2. The swarming defense, the steals, the deflections, the fast break opportunities. And basically they said, you've done it already, go out and do it again. And Anthony Edwards said that motivated the group. It kind of upped their belief going into tip-off, and certainly this was a masterful defensive performance. You hold the defending champs to just 70 points in a game when they had a chance to get back to the Western Conference Finals, and it was all of those things you like to see from a strong defensive group: the rebounding, the steals, deflections, perimeter defense, interior defense. And certainly this is a confident group going into Sunday.
70 points for Denver on 60 missed field goal attempts. You can never go wrong with hype videos. We know that. All right, so Dave, now Minnesota goes into the Lions' den. Game 7 against the defending champs on Sunday. What are their thoughts about this opportunity?
Well, Mike Conley said, he's been playing the league for a long time and he's never won a Game 7. So he says, I feel like this is my time. I feel like I'm due. And certainly the team will rally around their veteran leader. But beyond that, if you remember, Anthony Edwards, when he left Ball Arena after Game 4, when they lost, after Game 5, when they lost it to fall down 3-2, he had a conversation with the locker room attendant in the visiting locker room. And he said, hey, I'm going to see you for Game 7. And that proved to be prophetic. They're going to go back there with a chance, a one-game opportunity to beat the defending champs, to go to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history. Certainly this is a group that is motivated right now, that feels together in this moment, and they're going to need that because we know what the Nuggets are capable of.
I think Anthony Edwards said something different. We appreciate you cleaning it up here on national TV. That's Dave McMenamin on a night the Wolves force again. And the pride of Beaumont, Texas, Kendrick Perkins joins us now. Big Perk, what the heck just happened?
You saw what happened. You saw starving Wolves get on their heels like a pair of church socks. And look, when you're led by Anthony Edwards, who I believe is the best young leader in today's game, a guy that's going to bring that tenacity, that positive energy, and put the key in his guys' back, you have a chance at winning ball games and winning series. We already know what type of elite talent he is offensively, but it was the defense tonight, and it was led by Anthony Edwards. When you're watching him play, especially with the matchup of Jamal Murray, it's personal. Jamal Murray has not scored over 20 points one time in this series. Tonight he struggled, going 4 for 18, and it's not over. Like, this is going to carry on the road. The Timberwolves believe that they can win on the road. They've shown that they can win on the road, especially in Denver. I'm excited about Game 7, but they have to prepare to make sure that they know that they're going to get Jokic best shot.
Why, in your opinion, is Anthony Edwards the best young leader in basketball?
Because we saw it tonight, Kev. Think about it. Jay McDaniels, 21 points, right? We saw Mike Conley come in, 13 points. You see the confidence of the others. We're watching Karl Anthony Towns have some special moments throughout this postseason that we've never seen before. And I know Anthony Edwards, he came on, he said it last game after his post-game interview. He said, hey, man, Jokic is the best player in the league. He said that publicly, but he don't believe that inside. He believes he's the best player. And when you have a guy that has a young player that has an old soul like that, you have something to build on. And the way that he's able to uplift his coaches and his teammates is something special to watch.
Perk, you alluded to the defense Anthony Edwards played on Jamal Murray in this game, and the numbers 4 of 18 from the field. What did he do defensively to totally take Murray out of the game?
Well, he took the matchup personal, Kev. And think about this for a second. He did the same thing last series going toe-to-toe with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Just think about it, right? He's picking them up as soon as he come across half court. He's fighting over screens. He's making sure that he can test all jump shots. He's getting physical with them, and he's letting them know about it. Just by his style of play, his attention to detail. We know that he's a student of the game because of how much film he watched. He talked about it post-game about getting in the film room with Coach Finch. It wasn't just offensively, it's defensively as well.
You know, we're going to hear Denver say we have to put this game behind us. It's just one game. What's it like putting this kind of loss behind you?
Well, it's hard, but you got to move on. I mean, again, you still face they are the defending champs, okay? I strongly believe that they have the best starting five in basketball, led by the best player in the game of basketball in Jokic. So they have to move on. It's no different than when they dropped games 1 and 2 and everybody thought they was done, including myself. They will come out and they will be prepared. Coach Michael Malone is a hell of a coach. He's a championship level coach, and he's going to have those guys fired up. They're going to wash this one down the toilet. They're going to look forward, clean up their mistakes, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to make shots because they did have a lot of wide open, uncontested shots that they usually make that they didn't make, but it's going to be a brawl for it all.
All right, you're going to put this behind you, but Perk, you were a leader on your team, and you were a defensive stopper on the teams that you played on.
Well, I appreciate it,
where do you begin, right? I mean, if you're Denver, where do you begin after Minnesota got whatever it wanted, whenever it wanted tonight?
Well, we saw in Game 5 that Coach Michael Malone made adjustments for his trapping Anthony Edwards. I mean, he made him play in the crowd. I said this, you know, it was more crowded than, you know, L.A. dance floor in a nightclub while they was playing Kendrick Lamar. But now it's Michael Malone's time to make a defensive adjustment. And the thing is, with Mike Conley being back in the lineup, he's going to have to figure things out, right? Do you put Aaron Gordon on Anthony Edwards full time and tell him, hey, this is your matchup. We're not going to help because we have to respect the others. Or he's going to say, you know what, look, at the end of the day, I need everybody to man up, defend your man, help the helper, or we may see some zone. We never know, but it's Michael Malone time to adjust. I don't know what the hell he could do.
Denver does have a 3-time MVP and the reigning MVP. How do you assess the way Nikola Jokic played tonight?
I thought he played well, but you got to give a lot of credit to Karl Anthony Towns. You got to give a lot of credit to Naz Reid. And you got to give a lot of credit to Rudy Gobert, okay? Because Rudy took a lot of heat over the last couple of days, and I was one of the few that was giving him the heat. I thought today they did a great job of fighting, right? The Minnesota Timberwolves putting forth the first, second, third, fourth effort on Jokic. Look, no one is going to stop Jokic. That's why he's the best player in the league. But what you can do is make it hard on him, throw multiple bodies at him, contest from behind when he's shooting shots. And I thought the perimeter players did a great job of actually getting in the trenches with their big fellas and making it ugly for the Denver Nuggets and Jokic tonight.
A lot of praise to go around for Minnesota, Perk, and of course that includes their head coach, Chris Finch. Hang tight with us here, Perk. Wolves forcing Game 7.
And coming into this game, how did you approach it? Like, what were you thinking that you needed to do in this game coming into it?
Me individually, just shoot it every chance I get. Honestly, yeah. I don't think I shot it enough. I'm looking at it. I only shot 17 times, but we won, so I don't care. But yeah, just shoot it every chance I get. Because last game they took the ball out of my hands.
Well, I was going to ask about the other guys who then got a lot of shots. I think between you, Rudy, and Kat, I think you guys were 16 to 35 together, and you got a lot of help from everybody else. How did you see that come together?
Bro, James played great tonight. He took 10 shots and had 21. Yeah, he was fantastic tonight. Yeah, for sure. Big shout out to him. he's the X factor of the team. I think everybody knows it. When he plays well, we win. I don't know the percentages, but I mean, I feel like when Jaden plays well, can't nobody beat us. So I mean, him playing like that tonight, it was crazy.
And what's the difference between you bringing the ball up and Mike or somebody else bringing the ball up and you being on the wing? Does your mindset change? How does it work?
I mean, it's a big difference. I mean, because last game I was trying to get people involved and be aggressive. But when Mike playing, I don't have to worry about getting people involved. That's his job. So, yeah, tonight it was no getting people involved for me. I don't think I had that many assists tonight. Yeah. Oh, I had 4. So I did what I needed to do.
About the shots? Yeah. He said, I only took 17 shots. I need to take more. He had 27 points in all. Third player, 22 or younger, to average 30 points per game through the first 10 games of a postseason. The others, LeBron and Kobe.
Perk, when you look back at this game, Timberwolves, what they did defensively has been the big discussion all series long. What do you take from today heading into Game 7 that worked?
Well, it seemed like they got life back, right? Their confidence, and it starts with Anthony Edwards. But then you talk about the most important piece in this series is Karl Anthony Towns. And look, he only had 10 points tonight, but he was impactful. He hit the glass. He was defending. Just think when he's having those powerful moments, especially on the offensive end, the Timberwolves are hard to beat. And so when I'm looking at this team, Karl Anthony Towns, he has to neutralize Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon has been so special for the Denver Nuggets that Karl Anthony Towns have to match his energy in Game 7 on the road. Anthony Edwards have shown us what he could do on a consistent basis. Karl Anthony Towns has been up and down, but at this moment right here, Game 7 comes Sunday, this is when Anthony Edwards is going to need him the most.
Game 7 in Denver, you've played in many of these. 8 of them to be exact. You've won 5 of them, so give me the key. Give it to me.
Well, look. Blocking out all the outside noise, locking in, and you're supposed to be pissed off, right? And you're supposed to be worried because you just never know what's going to happen. At the end of the day, your focus is those guys in the locker room and can control what you can control. Each individual player just have to be a star in their role. Be the best that you could be. Make sure that you compete. Play through the whistle, right? You're not going to get every single call. Calls may not go your way. At the end of the day, stay within the unit. Lose yourself in the team and everything else is going to be okay. But you got to make sure you do the proper things building up to a Game 7. The proper rest, the proper film study, all the negative things that you see about yourself that you need to correct as an individual. Do that and make sure you do everything in your power to make sure you're prepared to walk into that Game 7 to help your team win.
You've won 5 of 8 of them. Pretty good expertise. Appreciate the time, Perk.
I appreciate you.
Nikola, how do you guys wash a game like this away when, just kind of nothing goes right for you and everything goes right for them?
I think we shouldn't. I think we need to sink in. Like, it's a great loss. They beat us, they destroy us, and we should learn it. And you need to give them respect. They came out and actually we had a 9-2 score, right? Fun. Didn't look good for them in that period, But since then, it was a one-team show. So I'm gonna take this as a great loss.
Well, and Nikola, to that end, I guess I saw online because I wasn't paying that close attention. Did you stand the entire fourth quarter, and what was sort of the thought behind that?
Just to be warm so I can lift after.
This is a native language, Nikola. Prvo čestitam uz uručenje MVP nagrade na prošloj utakmici uz fenomenalno možda dali to jedan od tvojih najboljih utakmica ikada, a evo da kažem kako si doživio ovu i neka mi se čini da su bile oscilacije, neka kad smo se bojali da ćete izgubiti, vi ste pobedili, kad smo mislili da sigurno ćete pobediti, niste pobedili.
Pa da, sigurno ova serija je jedna interesantna, pre početka sam rekao da će biti interesantna, gde bukvalno svaka ekipa može da iznenadi da li na domaćem, da li na gostujućem terenu, tako da i 7. utakmica može da ode na jednu i na drugu stranu. Današnja utakmica bile, mi se nismo pojavili, jednostavno bili su u svakom segmentu bolji od nas. Nismo pogađali, nismo kreirali otvorene šuteve, dali smo 60-70 poena. Njihova odbrana je bila fantastična, tako da mislim brojke govore same za sebe, tako da nemamo mi tu šta da dodamo.
Nikola, talking to people around the team, they say the only difference they ever noticed from you in the playoffs is maybe a little more focus. I guess, do you do anything special to make sure you're mentally as sharp as you can be?
No, I prepare for the game like every other game. I think I know all the calls, all the plays. For me, it's just another game.
And were you always able to treat every game the same, or is that something that from childhood on?
Maybe not from childhood, but since I came in the league and I'm gonna say like my fourth, fifth year, when I had my minutes and I know what I'm gonna do, and then I know my place first, and then start learning about their other teams' plays, actions.
Nikola, you have experience winning Game 7s, playing in Game 7s. What are you expecting in terms of atmosphere, and how do you win in those situations?
I mean, it can go one way or another. I think that's why this series is interesting, because every team can win and lose, and depends how the game's gonna open up. When you think about it, basically the only kind of interesting game was Game 1 when we lost, when it was kind of close. Game 2 they blow us out. The Game 4 we blow them out. Game 5 they blow us. So basically, hopefully we're gonna blow them up in Saturday, Sunday. So it's gonna be interesting, I think.
Nikola.
Chris, you've interviewed a ton of players. How about the honesty? Jokic calling it a great loss. He said the opportunity to let it sink in will be big. It's amazing. Game 5, he was handed his third MVP trophy. Game 6, he was handed the largest loss of his playoff career. It's the largest loss for an MVP in a playoff game since 1956, when Bob Pettit and the Hawks lost by 58. What happened that night?
No opening statement.
Michael, when they made that 27-2 run in the first quarter, it seemed like you guys were fueling their break a little bit with some of the turnovers, but also just missing shots. How much did you feel like you guys weren't executing your offense sort of to the standard that you need to, and how much is just like, okay, we can make these shots in a Game 7, we can kind of handle this? It's just a little bit of a variance.
Well, yeah, to your point, we started off 9-2. They call a timeout. They go on a 29-5 run. And in that stretch, the two things that stood out to me were, one, the turnovers, to your point, which I said pregame is, you can't do that in this building with that crowd. Give them life, give them energy. And so our offense, the lack of value in the ball was problematic. And then the other thing that was really problematic in that first half, 11 offense rebounds for 15 points. I told the guys at halftime, I said, fellas, if I would have told you before the game that they'd be shooting 42 from the field and 30 from the three-point line, would you have taken it? And they all said, yeah. I says, well, the reason we're getting our ass kicked is because they're not taking care of the ball. You're not rebounding. We're playing with no physicality and no toughness. And they hit us first, they hit us second, they hit us third. And so you give them credit. They did what they needed to do to keep this series alive and to bring it back to Denver for a Game 7. So disappointing loss. Anytime you get down by 50 in a playoff game, that's never an enjoyable experience. But we have to go home and get back to playing the way we did, where we won 3 games in a row. And I have no doubt that we'll be ready to do that come Sunday.
Michael, how'd you feel about your team's offensive process once you guys did get down big in the first half? It felt like there were a lot of threes going up. Were you good with those looks for the most part, or would you like to have been a little bit more aggressive towards the rim?
Yeah, I don't know. I think at halftime we had 21 threes attempted, and we only made maybe 4 of them. And it's a fine line because obviously, as I predicted they would, they double-teamed Nikola. Obviously, after a 40-point outburst, they double-team him. So when they put 2 on the ball, you're going to generate some open looks from 3. But it's a fine line, Vinny, of, okay, yeah, we're generating good looks. And I felt early on we didn't make the good looks. and that kind of discouraged us and kind of took away our defensive intensity. We've been so much more aggressive the last 3 games and decisive and assertive the last 3 games than we were today. And I think not making shots kind of had a negative impact on just our overall disposition tonight, which can't be the case. When you are missing shots, you got to dig even deeper and give greater effort. But that just wasn't the case tonight. So we'll watch the film. We'll see what we can do better come Sunday and try to win a Game 7, another Game 7 for us.
And Game 6 win.
Chris, just kind of backs against the wall. Just what did you think of him responded when you needed it most?
Well, there was 2 responses. There was a response to the last 3 games, but the most important response was when we got down 9-2. And we did a really good job of focusing and coming back with the right energy, getting our defense in place. And they were kind of getting loose in transition was what we talked about. So couldn't happen. And we did a really good job there. And once we get our defense in place, we like our chances. So
to kind of encapsulate the whole season, what this team's been about, just in terms of toughness and resilience and sticking with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a lot today just about getting our edge back, our swagger, playing a little more free and easy. We felt like we hadn't had our best effort on both sides of the ball yet in this series. I thought we left kind of a lot of meat on the bones offensively the other day. Guys did a good job of reacting to that. We always knew it was going to be a long series coming in. This proved to be the case. To win it, you got to get 4. I didn't say how you got to get them. So should be fun on Sunday.
Chris, what was working for you guys defensively against Murray after he was kind of able to get loose in games 3 through 5?
Yeah, I think attention to detail, just not allowing him to have so much separation. Of course, get him back in transition, where you can actually get into people's bodies, be physical. Just the willingness to keep pursuing. It's tough, It's like pass, chase, screen, get it back, flip the screen. It's multiple things. So we'd been doing that earlier in the series, and we kind of let it slip. So we found that tonight again.
Chris, you often refer to Jaden McDaniels as a barometer for the offense. Were you thinking about that going into this game, and then what stood out to you from his offensive performance?
Just confidence. He played with confidence. He hadn't been shooting the ball well, hadn't necessarily been scoring it for us. But I thought he got a lot of good looks the other day. Of course, they were going to continue to give him good looks. It was his 3, I think, that kind of sparked us out of that timeout. We really needed to see that thing go down. And then it was just, play off the catch, make the right play, stay confident. Everything came in the flow of the offense. And he got a bunch of buckets in a lot of different ways, which is, for us, when that's happening with Jaden, we know we're playing the right way. So,
schematically, in terms of how you're guarding Jokic, it seemed like it looked a lot like Game 2 and bringing the doubles from the top side there. You had Rudy in this game, and you didn't have him in Game 2. How did that kind of all come together defensively?
Well, as you know, with a player that great, you just have to give him different looks, and we know what the damage he can do when you leave guys one-on-one, even though Cat's done a pretty good job of fighting him. And it was just literally how we're going to be able to fly around and contest, and we did a good job of that. And I thought they missed some kind of early open ones that if they went in, maybe the game's a little different out of the shoot, but they didn't, and we were able to kind of feed off of that.
It's rare that all 3 of your bigs get double-digit rebounds. You guys were plus 19 for the game, 5 out of 8 pretty much on your boards. What was it about? Was it part of the way the defense was running?
No, they missed 60 shots, so there's a lot of rebounds to be had out there. We did a pretty good job of that, rebound. I thought there was one spate there in the first half where we didn't rebound particularly well. I think they got a couple threes out of that, but mostly we were able to rebound well. So.
Getting Mike back, how did that impact you guys tonight, and how did he?
Yeah, I mean, Mike means everything for us. Just experience, shot making. Unbelievable next to Anthony in terms of being able to set him up, play off of him. Kind of be in his ear all the time. Smart defender. Just everything you want in an experienced veteran point guard, and just the very fact that Ant doesn't have to handle every single time. I mean, that alone helps us. So Mike's invaluable. It was great to see him out there. We desperately missed him the other night.
Start of the second quarter, no Ant or Cat on the floor for you. How did you feel like that group on the court handled the offensive side of the basketball?
Yeah, I thought they did great. That's a lineup that we used a lot in the second half of the season to start the fourth quarter, and we found that lineup really clicked. It's a movement lineup. It's a high IQ lineup.